welcome back to our house. I'm Anna, and I'm here with my husband, Greg. It's April 27th, I believe, yeah, here in Fairfield, California.
28th.
28th.
Hard to keep track of the days in this
I
shelter in place,
know.
right?
Oh my gosh. Anyway, as you know, we're communication studies professors talking about just our experiences while we're dealing with this coronavirus stuff. We wanted to focus on teaching and how we're coping with teaching since we started online remote learning. But before we do that, we thought, since we don't have a television station right here in Fairfield, we have to rely on Sacramento or Oakland to get our updates on what's going on. We thought we'd just kind of update us on what's going on in our county with regard to the coronavirus. Greg?
Yeah, so when you watch the news, you're going to get plenty of information on what's going on in the United States, also in California, but here in Solano County, and by the way, the Bay Area as a whole has really done a good job overall as far as the shelter in place. When you look at the number of cases, more importantly, the number of deaths compared to other regions in the United States. I mean, if you look at Solano County, not yet 200 confirmed cases, 199, although we all know that number is probably way higher just because of the lack of testing.
They may call us hippies, but you know what? When they tell us to stay in place, we stay in place. Bloody idiots at Huntington Beach. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so let's brag about how great our county is. My gosh. Because we
you look at
follow instructions.
You look at California, 43,000 cases, almost 1,800 deaths, 1,755, but just 4 deaths in Solano County.
Yeah, yay us.
So as a whole, Solano County has been doing really well. And I think you kind of have the breakdown of the cases in each of the cities in Solano County.
This is from the Daily Republic, actually. Like Vallejo added 11 confirmed COVID-19 cases since last Friday afternoon. Fairfield's total jumped by 7, Vacaville by 6, Sassoon by 4. So altogether, this is according to the Solano County Public Health Division. As of, what's today?
Today's the 28th.
But today's Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah, yesterday, as of yesterday, actually. So 27 cases throughout our county. So right now there are 226 confirmed cases, 44 of which are active. I don't even know what that means. But 96 confirmed cases.
That means they're still ongoing.
53
still being treated.
53 in Fairfield. 34 in Vacaville, 15 in Sassoon, and 12 in Benicia. The remaining 16 cases are spread between Dixon, Rio Vista, and the unincorporated areas of the county, which are fewer than 10 cases. So, like I said, yay us, man.
But as a result, too, of the shelter in place, boy, 7 weeks now that we've been teaching only online. Solano closed its doors, I think, on the 16th of March. And so 7 weeks into the online learning. And really, that's what we wanted to talk about today in today's podcast, is just some of the things that we've been learning, switching. And still, you look at this semester, I mean, none of us at the start of the semester had any inclination at all that we were going to be teaching a large part of the semester all online. So that's been a big change, both for the students and for the instructors. But I think 7 weeks in, I know at least with my classes going okay. The thing I've noticed more than anything else with the students, now that they've started turning in some of their work, and of course, we're both teaching public speaking classes, and so one thing we're doing, we're grading a lot of speeches, looking at a lot of outlines, and then we'll see the video of the presentations. But right now in my class, I'm just grading outlines. And one thing I can tell you about the students, 2 kinds of students. You can tell the ones that watch the instructional videos, right? All the stuff that we got, all our lectures taped. You can tell the students that are watching those, paying attention to the documents, and then the students just kind of wait until the last minute and just kind of throw it together any way that they can. Still, work's getting done, but I've noticed with teaching online, and if I do this again, I'm going to have more quizzes after each of the instructional videos. That way, that will ensure that the students are getting the instruction that they need to then be able to put the assignments together.
Read the outline, take the quiz. How have you managed to to maintain students? Because I think attrition has been an issue with some of our colleagues. I know some of them like, man, within the first week, just dropped half their students. I mean, have you been able to to keep your students, and what have you done to maintain,
Yeah,
keep
the
track of
very
them all?
first assignment that we did, and that was just a week into the online instruction, and an advantage there. So my wife's flashing me while we're
Oh my God.
doing our podcast here. Talk about vocal fillers. But anyway, the first assignment that I
At
had
least
from,
I can still distract you.
Woo! We're going to take a short break right now, and
Oh man.
but anyway, those students that were turning in that first set of outlines, I had been able to give some of the instruction still in the classroom before the shelter in place. So I would say I got about 95%.
Good.
I've got almost 150 students total in
Yeah.
all of my public speaking classes. That first round of assignments, I think all but 4 turned theirs
Oh
in.
my gosh.
And
Good.
those 4 that didn't, I sent emails to those kids, and with those 4 students, they ended up just dropping out, just different things.
Right, right.
And again, tough. Our students, they're losing their jobs. I mean,
True.
just getting food is a struggle.
Yeah.
And so, boy, a lot of issues. But still, I was pretty impressed after that first assignment. This next one, little bigger assignment, and students still are turning those in now. But I can see the percentage dropping just a little. I'll know a lot more when I get to Sunday.
Yeah.
That's the deadline for turning all those
Right.
assignments in. And with that being said, students have been turning in this assignment over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I've noticed this is the 3rd week, the last one, a lot more outlines coming in. So I think with a lot of students just kind of wait until the last minute.
True.
I'm hoping that by Sunday, going to be really high. I don't know if it'll be 95%, but I'd like to get close to that. And so to answer your question, if I don't hear from a student after a couple weeks, I'm going to send them a message on Canvas, and then if I don't hear back then, I'm going to send them a message on email. And I think the key thing during this whole shelter in place is to just so the students know that as an instructor, you have their back. Right?
Yes. Oh,
that
for
they
sure.
know that, hey, I understand for some
Yes.
of you just getting an internet connection. And so
Yeah.
I have really tried to stay positive, encouraging. I've got a couple students who maybe responded 3-4 weeks after sending out the email. I've had trouble,
Oh, good.
with
At
the
least
internet
they're still
connection, but I'm
connecting.
back on track, and
Good.
the students are always, for the most part, very polite. Do you think it would be okay if I could at least do the assignment, get partial credit?
yes.
I just said, no, we've got 5 weeks left in the semester. We got plenty of time
Yes.
for you to get your stuff in.
So
That's the advantage
true. Yeah.
of doing everything online. And so I think the key is to really make the students feel valued, and we want the students to know, hey, we got your back. We
Yeah.
know that there's stuff out there that you're having to deal with that you didn't anticipate at the start of the semester. We're going to do whatever we can to get you through the semester, and at the same time making sure that they learn all of the required material.
Have you ever had to extend the deadlines? Because I've had to, like,
Several times.
yeah, I know, because it's on the one hand, I think it's so important to maintain a schedule so students have some semblance of normalcy, right? On the other hand, like you were saying, you understand that all of a sudden everything's crashed into you. You're sharing your house with your relatives, your family's at home with you. What room are you going to be in?
In fact, you have a student, you were telling me, that there's so many people in the house that for a class, and you actually hold class meetings
Yeah.
on Zoom. She has to go in the closet or the bathroom.
Yeah, bathroom because it's loud, because usually at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
they're in school, so their family's home and they're sleeping. They're, of course, it's quiet, but since we have classes, and I do the synchronous class just for my debate class, and I ask the students this, because I ask them, hey, do you want to still have class at 8 a.m. because we have debates. It's kind of hard to do asynchronous classes when you have debates, because then you'll have two people debate, turning their debates, and other people can critique them. And so I asked them, I said, do you want to just still have class at the same time? And we do it through Zoom. And they all said, yeah.
To me, it's amazing
Yeah.
that you are able to
Yes.
conduct a debate
Yes.
on Zoom.
And it's so cool.
Man.
And so what I did was, with my Zoom account, which, by the way, I'm not very happy with, in terms of, they said that they were going to extend the time for the educational institutions, because it's a 40-minute time limit for the basic. That's a free Zoom packet. But then if you want a lot more time, it's like a $14.99 for a month. And so I got the basic, and we got kicked out of one of our classes. And I was so
Right in the middle of the class?
They kind of gave you kind of an extension of like 10 minutes, and the debates weren't over.
Oh, my goodness.
And then it just went blank. I was so furious, and so I sent them a message. I still haven't gotten a message back, and I sent a message to the school to try and figure out, they're supposed to extend it for educational institutions.
So did you end up having to pay?
Yep. I was bought for a month, so I'll just do month to month until we'll see what happens and sort it out. And so what I did then is I just scheduled all of our meetings, and then for every Monday and Wednesday, and then I put it on Canvas. And so students, every Monday and Wednesday, they just go click on those and just come to class. And everybody shows up. It's so cool. I've lost 4 students total. So I started off with 28 students.
And you're at Napa. You have, what, 2 classes?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one is an argumentation and debate class. The other is interpersonal communication.
Yeah.
And then public speaking classes at Solano.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what we're doing.
How's the interpersonal communication class going?
Fun. So I started a Facebook page, and I guess that might be some controversy around that, because some people are saying, well, the administrations can't police that, or they not police that, but they have no liability because, in terms of content, if somebody were to put something that's inappropriate, what are the ramifications of that? But you can control that, So what I do on Canvas, they still have to do their journals and all their assignments, and then when they go on Facebook, and this is what's so fun. So I put the assignments on Facebook, say for example, for the nonverbal communication, they have to do this exercise, right? So they read the chapter, do these exercises, and then find videos that had to do with nonverbal communication and post them on Facebook, and then they have to comment on them. And it's a riot what all the students put up there. So anyway, and so at the end of the semester, they have to write a 5-page paper comparing what it's like to be face-to-face and versus being online on social media. So it's going to be kind of cool, especially this semester, because they got to do both in the same class.
Yeah, that's been one of the coolest things about moving everything online, is, especially for a lot of us who've been teaching for such a long time, is we're just getting exposed to all kinds of new technology that we can use to really make the content more exciting and interesting.
Yeah. And we're learning too.
Yeah. Oh boy, isn't that the truth?
What I found was so important is to utilize the students. This is their playground, right?
Yes.
They grew up on this. But thank goodness, I had a student a few months ago say, "Hey, can I help you with your Canvas page?" And I'm like, "Oh, really?" Because it's kind of confusing what you have. So he showed me all the modules that I was showing you.
Yeah, then you showed me that, and boy, what a difference.
And then when to conceptualize, it's like, this is your textbook, right? Each module is a chapter, and within each chapter there are pages. And you have the
it just makes sense, right?
And each page is a segment, and at the end, like at the end of every book, chapter, there are activities. That's the assignment. Oh my goodness! Once I understood that, I was like, oh, this is cool. And now I think my modules are so detailed.
Oh yeah, like you said, it's like I looked at your Canvas page for your public speaking class. That's like an entire textbook. But boy, really helpful. I know for me, just learning how to organize the materials and the lessons in the modules really helped. The problem that I ran into, because I started the class and I was using Canvas, but I had everything on the assignments.
Yes, I did too.
So then we go to switch online, so I create the modules, and I thought, I had gotten rid of the assignment page, but no, it just kind of moved it lower.
Yeah.
And so one problem I'm running into with the students uploading their academic speech outlines, the ones who watch the videos and the announcements and they get the new directions, okay, everything you need you'll find in the modules. That's where you upload your outlines. For the students that didn't pay close attention, a lot of them are just uploading their academic speech outline on the assignments. Remember the other day I was telling you, wait, there are a couple outlines I know that I've graded, I've given them comments, and now I can't find it, is because I was looking on the modules, they had submitted it on the assignments.
You know what you can do for the next one for persuasive is go to the settings, and when you go to assignments. And
I don't have a persuasive speech. Just my next assignment will just be their presentation, and then they have a written evaluation.
So now what you can do is go to the settings and click it, do it so that they can't see the assignment page.
Yeah, and I thought I had done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know where you can go and you can arrange the stuff, and it might have just been for a couple classes that I didn't do it, but that was I finally figured that out today. It's like, oh, wait. And then I went a little farther in the grade book. There's another upload academic speech, and so there were a lot of speeches right there.
Okay.
So those are some of the
good.
things, though, that we're learning as instructors that we're doing for the first time. I mean, I have never utilized so many resources online in teaching, and so that's been something that we've had to learn, but also what a huge benefit.
That's why, I mean, how awesome are our colleagues, right? The discipline that we're in. I mean, just how was it? One of our colleagues from Delta, Kat, Bruce, she started the page for all of our I guess there were 10 people on that page, and within a week, it's the community comm studies pandemic. Well, I can't even remember the name of the page, but anyway.
Yeah, a lot of our colleagues that we used to work with when we were coaching speech and debate. The way the teaching community has come together and just pooling and sharing resources, it's been really, really cool. In fact,
amazing,
we were talking about this the other day as far as, sometimes when you're just sitting home and you're watching just the great job that the health care workers are doing, and man, I mean, nobody thought they were going to be pushed to the limit at the start of the year, but boy, just the effort there. So you feel, hey, I want to do something. I want to help. And we were talking about this a month earlier. You know what? Our job is take care of the students.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We've got to make sure that we keep all of our students focused and make sure that they're learning.
Yeah.
And so one thing I really tried to do with my students in terms of motivating them is to say, hey, with everybody being online and nobody in the classroom, I think that creates a little more of a level playing field.
Yes.
So when you're putting your assignments together, you're working against that kid who may be at Harvard taking a public speaking class and has all the prestige, and that kid's probably at home in his mansion, right? Probably playing video games. Now's the time to outwork those kids and get a leg up in the competition.
That kid at Harvard, though, also has better internet.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't mean that you can't try to outwork that individual.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. But on the other hand, too, that's another dilemma that we're coming across, too. You're right. We're all in the same playing field. But then on the other hand, resources. Some people have more resources than others. Like some of my students, for one of my students, for example, she didn't have very good internet connection. She was using her phone that was kind of spotty. So thank goodness for our schools, they loaned out laptops for some students. You have some students who have no internet at all. Now, I've read articles, I swear, where parents are now saying, we don't have internet connection because my parents didn't pay for it. Now we can't do school. All of those. I mean, those are the things that poor students, people having to deal with, and teachers who don't have internet. It's Sacramento. I saw it on some of the Facebook pages. Some teachers who don't have internet. I mean, you don't even think about that, right? My goodness. So, I mean, all kinds of issues with regard to teaching. I also saw something that pissed me off. Gets my goat.
Uh-oh.
It was an article. It was I thought it was in the Atlantic. No, but anyway, one of our colleagues put it up. These bloody students critiquing what their professors look like on the Zoom.
Oh, yeah. I remember you were telling me about that.
I couldn't believe it. And critiquing their female professors. Well, don't you think they should go get their hair done or at least comb your hair and whatnot? It's like, you know what? If that's what you came to bloody class for, it just made me so mad. And it was just a whole critique on if you're going to show up to class, at least do something with the hair or critiquing. They don't critique the male professors, they critique the female professors. On the other hand, some bloody students are showing up naked. But I mean, look at all the different issues now, extra and different issues that we have to deal with.
I do think it's important, though, if you are doing everything online, of course we all are, we're all in that situation. I think it's important for the students to see you.
Yes.
Yeah, I know
so
you still hold class on Zoom. I don't, but I'm making sure that I'm at least doing one or two announcements, video announcements every week. I want the students to see me. I want them to see my facial expressions.
Yeah.
And to see that, hey, I really care about you guys. Let's go. We can get this done.
Yeah. Well, you say making them feel valued. We're talking about like that, like you said, and I was saying, oh, I feel so kind of like I wish I could be contributing more. And I thought, well, we're teachers. We have all these students. We need to make them feel comforted and feel safe, and secure. And that's what we can do because they're going through stuff too, and also us, and making sure that we maintain. That's another thing too. We have to maintain ourselves. Did you hear about that ER doctor? Was it in New York? She had the coronavirus, survived it, and then committed suicide. That was just on the news today. So, you got to take care of the people who are the caregivers, and that's what I keep saying I don't know, I get emotional about this. But there are only a finite amount of caregivers, these doctors and nurses and everything. And if they get sick and we have another round of this stuff, who's going to take care of them, And so same thing with us. Like we're taking care of our students, but we also have to take care of us, like teachers are going through stuff too. We have families, we have issues of our own as well, and teachers who have kids at home, they still have to take care of their families and everything. But anyway,
I have found that
carried away.
I think I spend even more time working on school stuff than I did when we were in the classroom. But as you were kind of talking about that thing and the importance of valuing students, that's another feature I really like about the online instruction. Even though it's not face-to-face, I know I have a lot more interaction with each of the individual students, right? Because if I was in the classroom, a student for the speech,
that's a good point.
They're going to give the actual presentation, and I'm going to write the comments on the outline. Then at the end of the class, they'll pick up the outline, they'll get my comments, they'll have the grade, but they're trying to read through it. Now it's like I'm making the individual comments on the outline on Canvas. Cool little feature, right? You can put all your comments right there next to the stuff that they have in the outline. And I like it too. I think it's important. I try to give as many positive comments as critical comments because I want them to feel valued. But I feel like I have a lot more one-on-one interaction with each of the individual students, and I really like that aspect.
It's good. It's almost like you have office hour, with every single student, and you have all day, so you can take the time. You're not at school, you're at home, so you have 12 hours at least to go through with all of your students. How many students do you say you have?
I have 153.
Goodness. I mean, 153 outlines to read all day. You can take your time and really focus on each student individually, as opposed to, so sometimes some people may skim through, or if you're in class and you listen to 6 speeches, you only have so much, so you write the comments that are most pertinent and everything. But here you can actually dissect and give them some more
feedback.
You don't feel
as rushed.
Yes.
Because when you're, in the classroom, it's like, okay, I got to get here, I got class this time, then I have this meeting. Here, it's like, okay, I'm at home. Right? And you can take a break. Usually, once I get through, and it depends on the quality of the outlines.
That's what I was gonna
Sometimes, I mean, I love it when a student turns in an outline and it's just about perfect. those are the easiest to grade. Yeah,
Go
good
through your
job
ranks
here,
when you get 'em.
excellent here, 90 something. But then you get the outline and you can tell the student hasn't watched the instructional
Oh
video. They
man.
haven't looked at the documents. I think this, and so then you're correcting everything, but at the same time, I don't feel rushed. I guess that's kind of bad for the students. They probably wish we had a limited amount of time. No, we'll just take our time and point out everything. But that's better for the students.
True.
Right? Because anytime we're telling them, here's something that you can do better, right?
Yes.
That's a teaching moment.
Yeah.
And with both of us, we know we just want our students to perform at the highest possible levels, and we want to prepare our students to go out and to make a difference in the world.
Reach their highest potential. Yeah, it's like you always said. I saw this quotation and I just thought it is so cool. It's just because I told you I hang out with Deepak Chopra, and I was just hanging out with him, and he was talking about Gandhi and Martin Luther King. And he was talking about how we're going through all of this and dealing with young students and whatnot. You be the change you want to see.
Yeah.
So they were saying, as a collective, we have an opportunity. Look at how clean our air is, right? Look at just our environment around us. We, as a collective, can make this world a better place. You know, we can start with our students, and that's why I just.
And we're going to
so
need those
excited.
students to excel, because boy, who knows what the future holds for us? I
they
mean,
can make it.
just as far as the economy.
Yeah,
I
true.
mean, these young people, they have got a challenge ahead of them, but we want our students to embrace that. Let's prepare them so
Yes.
they can go out and make a difference. I mean, we see all the potential,
Yeah.
all the talent in the classroom,
Yeah.
and I'm encouraged. I
This-
really am.
This generation, for the most part, are going to have to fend for themselves. And they say, what is it? Necessity breeds invention. You know, and so they're already having to stay at home. They have to get creative. You know, look at all the science projects that the kids can do at home, like in the second, third grade. You can learn fractions by baking cookies. You know, a half a teaspoon here, 3/4 of a cup there. You know, they're actually doing science by by baking something that they like to do. It's kind of like what's Mr. Miyagi in the Karate Kid. You know, you don't need to have
The
a
wax
Bunsen.
on, the wax off.
You don't need to have a Bunsen burner.
Hey,
in
he's
front
from
of you.
Armio too.
That's right.
Right? I mean, excuse me,
Pat Morita?
not from Armio. He wasn't born and raised in high school.
He went to
He's from
Armio High
Fairfield,
School.
and he was a graduate
That's
of
right.
Armio High School.
Right down
Mr.
the
Miyagi.
street. Yes, Pat Morita. But you know, look at all the different ways that you can learn.
Yeah.
You know, that students can see. Like, there's more than one way to learn a subject. You were telling me.
And even us, just having to go online, that's what we're learning.
Exactly.
There are more ways that we can teach kids how to be
True.
more effective public communicators.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. You know, I got to share this. You remember Janet Bree, one of our colleagues from Las Positas?
Yeah, former
Yes.
speech coach at
And
Las Positas.
Oh, wonderful. Anyway, one of our colleagues was talking about how, what was he saying about being online, teaching online?
And you
she
don't have
said-
that, you can't see,
Yeah.
you don't have that nonverbal aspect.
But she said this beautiful, she goes, a little tilt of the head, something about a length of the syllable, you know, or something. It was just so beautiful. I'm just butchering what she said. Can go a long way. And she goes, that's why she likes Interp. And if you look at what we're doing, that's kind of what we're doing, right? Online, talking to our students. You have to engage them somehow. All our Interp skills come into play. You know, making eye contact, vocal variety, your gestures and all this stuff. You know, when you're talking
They
about
can't see the
material.
tilt of the head. You've got to write in a way that makes them feel it.
Yeah, but when you're talking to them, you know,
Yes.
in class, I mean, that was so beautiful. I wish I would have written that down, but it was talking about, like you said, when you give announcements to students and you're doing it by video, they can see you, and then you have a closer connection. Isn't that interesting? You're closer to the students now that we're away from the students. Isn't that something?
Very profound.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought, whoa, how fun. Anyway.
Hey, last thing today, too, a lot of you actually gave us some feedback on Facebook. We appreciate that. Thanks for the comments. Keep them coming. And we're still not going to get a camera in here. At least today we put up some pictures and everything. But yeah, we'll wait until we can get back to get out of the shelter in place, and then maybe
Yes.
we'll think about putting this on video.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, are we done?
I think we're getting to the end here.
Okay.
We're coming up on 30 minutes.
All right. Just the last thing with my students' podcasts and everything. So good. They are so creative, you know, just doing different scenes in their podcast. This one guy did one from, you know, he was working out and talked about diet and how that's important. So he went from his garage to his kitchen, you know, and showed us the food and how he's making it. I mean, these kids are amazing.
Yeah, that has been another cool feature of students now having to do the presentations online. In the classroom, I typically wouldn't let students do a demonstrative or a how-to speech.
Yes.
Here's how to make bean dip. Here's how to make, 'cause it didn't have all the facilities and everything in the classroom. But now, I mean, kids at home.
Yes.
I have one student is doing a presentation on how to change oil, and so
What a
he's
good idea.
filming it in the garage, showing you how to do it. So you bring that up about the students actually doing their
Cars don't have
presentations
oil anymore?
online, and that's really been a cool aspect. It's really opened up the different kinds of presentations that students can do
Yeah.
in a public speaking class.
All different ways, you know, and you look at them and teach them. The way I distinguish the two is like, well, informative would be like an instructive video that you watch. Here's like on Food Network channel, right? Or when you're watching a YouTube video, here's how to put on makeup. Here's different kinds of clothes to wear. Whereas a persuasive would be like an infomercial, right? So that's how to distinguish the two. So I tell the students, if you need any help, go out, look at those videos. Anyway, are we done for the day?
I think so.
All right. Thank you for hanging out at our house. Until next time.
And
thank
keep your
you.
comments coming on Facebook too. We appreciate
Yeah.
those.
And thanks for hanging out with me. That was a good time.
We out.
We out.